What's up with me today? I know, right? Like, I'm over here. Come on. Okay. Let me locate my pen. Uh-oh. I just had it. Okay. You're going to need note-taking materials for this live as well as the second device. The second device you will use to go to the turnarounddoctor.com. The turnarounddoctor.com. And once you're there, you're going to go to the 74 Principles of Real Leadership. Scroll down to Leader-Led section. And we are on number 12, Leverage Experts. Now, before we get started, go ahead on your own and take 3 deep cleansing breaths on your own. Okay, I'd just like to say a disclaimer. I have nasal rinsed, I have nasal spray, and I have taken a nasal and an allergy pill. It's just an allergy day. So this right eye is going to continue to water, and I might cough and need a cough drop as well. It's just something in this Las Vegas desert air this morning. That being said, I am Dr. Donna Louise Thomas Rogers, daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and Levi Thomas, great granddaughter. Today, we are talking about leverage experts. How did we get here? Neurogenesis, and that's the creation of new neurons in your brain. And then that leads to neuroplasticity, which is the brain's way of wiring those new neurons. You take that, you add neuropability. You add the 74 principles of real leadership, as well as the theory of personal accountability, and you get neuropability, which is the brain's ability to wire itself to use those 74 principles of real leadership to create unlimited neural pathways so that you can become your best every single day, day in and day out. Where does that magic happen? It happens in the frontal lobe, and in a particularly special place, the executive function of the brain, which is also known as the CEO of the brain. So without further ado, let's use that executive function today. What I have done, if you're new to the channel or you're watching on the replay, is I have reviewed all of the 74 principles in real leadership in summary. And now I am dialing them down by detail. And we have arrived at leader-led portion, and we are at number 12, which is leverage experts. In addition to giving an overview, I define each word in the principle of real leadership so that you can understand it in its totality. Leverage experts. I have been using GPT, and I am using the free version to see if I want to go to the pro version. Haven't decided that yet today. So I reached my 5 search limit within that amount of time. And so I was like, but I still need information. And so I used, believe it or not, because I was getting ready to get rid of my Twitter account, it was vacillating back and forth. And I used the Grok, G-R-O-K portion of it, and found the second 2 other definitions that I needed for today. So Twitter X is not on the chopping blocks currently. And I will discuss which information came from where. Most of the information came from me and ChatGTP with a little bit of Grok sprinkled in there. Leverage experts. So let's start with the word leverage. Leverage means the goal is to gain a better position or result. The goal is to gain a better position or result. And if you dial it down a little bit further, leverage allows you greater output through smart, strategic use of available tools and resources. So I'll say that again. Leverage. The goal is to gain a better position or result. And leverage allows you a greater output through smart, strategic use of available tools and resources. That is what leverage means. And yes, I watched Leverage, and I watched the show Leverage when it was on, and Leverage Redemption. So I'm not talking about that type of leverage. I am to a certain extent, but I'm really talking about how to leverage experts. And what is the definition of an expert? And I have a simple definition and then the key points to the definition. So an expert is someone who has a high level of knowledge, skill, or experience in a particular field or subject, typically gained through study, training, or extensive practice. Extensive practice. Someone who has a high level of knowledge, skill, or experience in a particular field or subject, typically gained through study, training, or extensive practice. Now, I do have a Dr. Donna's definition of a fexpert. And so a fexpert is a fake expert giving you advice, which is fake ass advice. And that is not what an expert is. So an expert, again, is someone who has a high level of knowledge, skill, or experience in a particular field or subject, typically gained through study, training, or extensive practice. Now, here are the key points to the definition of expert. It is a specialized knowledge or skill. That means they have a deep understanding in a specific area. They have a deep understanding in a specific area. And you will be able to tell that when they are an actual expert. Their experience is often gained over many years of practice or study. Often gained over many years of practice or study. And then there will be recognition. Others may rely or consult the person for guidance in that area. Others may rely on or consult that person for guidance in that area. So the key points to the definition is they have specialized knowledge, they have a lot of experience, and they are recognized as an expert in their field of study. Now, we talked briefly about thought leaders yesterday or 2 days ago. I mentioned it, and then Kevin looked it up and was like, whoa, that's some bullshit. So a thought leader is not an expert. If you want to look up the definition of a thought leader, full meaning of it, go check it out for yourself. Now, a lot of thought leaders got podcasts, they're on television, they're on air, but they are not actual experts. They do not have a deep understanding in a specific area. They've just been talking shit and talking about shit for a long time, and it comes across as if they know what they're talking about. They don't have their own theories or any of that, and most of the time they don't even have a degree in anything. They're just rattling off just a bunch of rhetoric, and if you do it with enough bravado and say it enough times, people end up believing that that's who you are. But very rarely are they actually credible, and you can peel them apart very simply with just a couple questions. So that's not who I'm talking about. I'm not talking about experts. I'm not talking about thought leaders. I'm referring to actual credentialed experts. So what questions do you have about the definitions of leverage and experts before we move on to why don't people leverage experts? And I really would like to know where my pen, there it is. I knew I had another pen sitting here that was already in use. Hopefully this other allergy pill kicks in before my live is over so I can stop wiping this eye. Are y'all there? Can somebody type so I will know that I'm not freezing already like I froze yesterday? So you all can type. Okay. Kevin did a test. So Kevin's test showed up, Noah. See if you can, maybe if you go out and come back in. I do see your test, Kevin. Thank you for that. Okay. So Nola, go out and come back in and see if you can do it. There we go. I see your test as well. My prize students. Okay, so if you don't have any questions about the expert or the leverage or experts, then let's go on to why don't people leverage experts? And there's an interesting answer in number 2 that I went, whoa. So when we get to it, it's like, whoa. We just listened to that the other day, Black Rob's Well. Okay. Lack of awareness. Lack of awareness. Good morning, Lola. So lack of awareness is why people don't leverage experts. They may not know who the experts are or that the expertise is even available in the area they need help. Lack of awareness. Now, I have been on social media a very long time. My YouTube channel will be turning 12 years old in August. And I just reached 3,000 followers yesterday. And YouTube sent me, good morning, Regina. Okay, got it. Thank you for the update. And people just are not aware of their ability to hold themselves personally accountable. So you can't leverage an expert that you can't see. And Kevin and I had this discussion behind closed doors, and I'm there. I'm there and people see me. So it's not a matter of they're not aware in theory, because I have thousands of followers on X/Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. That's where the most of my followings have decided to occur. So it's not a lack of awareness because people are following me. It's more a lack of visibility and a lack of understanding of what's actually taking place. So you have to, as Regina has mentioned before, that she has explained this to people, and people's brains are like, I don't get what you're talking about. I don't understand what you're talking about. Kevin had an extended conversation with someone as well, and they took copious notes. So it is a lack of awareness as what experts know and where the experts are and how this information can apply to me. Number two is overconfidence. And we talked about overconfidence yesterday as well for Be Prepared. So people don't leverage experts because they are overconfident. So some individuals believe they already know enough and undervalue expert advice. And this is a bias known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. Some individuals believe they already know enough and undervalue expert advice. It's a bias known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. Now, this is where I was like, whoa, what is that? I'm glad you asked, Kevin. I'm going to enlighten you. The Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias where people with low ability or knowledge in a specific area tend to overestimate their competence, while those with high ability may underestimate theirs. And the first two people that I thought about when I read that, I'm going to read it again. The Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias where people with low ability or knowledge in a specific area tend to overestimate their competence, while those with a high ability may underestimate theirs. I thought about myself and my sister. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago when I thought she was so smart. I was like, man, she could just go to school. She don't have to do no homework or nothing, and she'd get a good grade. She's smarter than me. It didn't occur to me that from 7th grade on, I was in magnet schools and CTA schools and 4-year universities and everything else. Never occurred. And because she could read and because I couldn't, I thought she was smarter than me. So I'm listening to her and she making it seem like that ain't shit, that ain't shit, that ain't shit, that ain't shit. And lo and behold, expert. First thing that I thought about. Now, it stems from a lack of self-awareness where unskilled individuals fail to recognize their shortcomings and experts assume others share their understanding. The effect often manifests overconfidence in novice and undue self-doubt in professionals. Because I just assume, y'all know what I'm talking about when I say personal accountability. And now that today is 541 days live, about 60 days in, I was like, oh, people don't know what personal accountability is. I'm just going to have to explain that to folks. Okay, cool. Got it. And here I am now going word by word, principle by principle for you to get it because I get it naturally. I'm like, what do you mean? You don't understand. So I am having self-doubt because I'm like, man, people just don't get it. Damn, they just don't get it. Am I correct? Am I right? And then we have my sister on the other end, and she is bravado, walking around, strutting her stuff, and she don't know shit. So it is called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Unskilled thought leaders are running their motherfucking mouths all day long, and they have the pulse of the people, so the people naturally think, oh, they know what they're talking about. They got 70 million followers, and they did and it sounds like they know what they're talking about until you try to use what they're talking about, and then it don't work. But they have the pulse of the people, and then the actual experts are over here like, damn, don't nobody know. Am I right? I have 7 people on my live right now. And everything I'm saying actually works. It works. And I'm over here like, well, I can't. Does it work? Maybe they are right. Maybe they do know more than me. They look at them. They got audience. They got books. They self-published. Not self-published. They're #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list. Dang. So it has a name. And it is a cognitive bias that the experts know and the experts don't know. And the experts are like, I ain't listening to y'all. I know. I've been talking for my sister said to me, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm like, you might have been at it or here for 20 years, but you ain't been doing nothing for 20 years. It took me 3 years to get it all together and figure it out. So that's an interesting dynamic. It's an interesting type of cognitive bias that I had no idea actually existed, but it is overconfidence and novice and lack of confidence in actual studied, well-informed professionals. Okay, number 3, cost concerns. Expert advice can be perceived as expensive or not worth the investment, especially in business or consulting settings. Expert advice can be perceived as expensive or not worth the investment, especially in business or consulting settings. People think that I'm a consultant, they think I'm a life coach, they think I'm a coach, they think I'm an advisor, and I tell them that I am an educator. And that is why everything for me is $30, $40, $50, $10, because I don't want cost to be the barrier to you getting to personal accountability. Then people think, well, how valuable could it be, Dr. Donna? Shit is only $30. Do you actually know what you're talking about? Because they over at Eckhart Tolle charge $50,000 a sitting if you want to sit. And I don't know that. I'm just throwing that out there. I had someone talking about YouTube channels and how to get make the most out of your YouTube channels. I watched the 85-minute free video to see what he just get new information. I take information from everybody. And he said that one day with him, if you want one-on-one day coaching with him, is $24,000. It's very, very, very high value. So that's an investment. Or you can pay $30 a month. So how valuable could it be? There are cost concerns. That's why people are like, nope, if it's too cheap, I don't trust it because it's too cheap. So how good could it be? Or, ooh, that costs too much and I'm not listening to them either. I'm just listening to this Joe Rogan podcast because he knows. Okay, number 4, fear of appearing ignorant. People may avoid reaching out to experts because they fear being judged for not knowing something. Now, what I find is interesting, just listening to this channel, I've gained a lot of motion. Well, awesome. So what happens is you avoid reaching out to experts because they fear being judged for not knowing something. Now, watch this. And to quote Noah's, no, I'm not going to say that because then YouTube might think I'm actually going to do it. So here's the thing. I started, y'all know I'm always running experiments. I'll tell you about one of the experiments at the end. There's time. I started 2 broadcast channels on YouTube. One of them is called Personal Accountability. The other one is called Be the Best in Business. And I'm running parallel experiments. Now, Personal Accountability has almost 50 members in it. And Be the Best in Business has 28, I think, somewhere around there. Now, my target market on Instagram is 18 to 24. That's the majority of the group. And then 25 to 35, a little bit more, right? So it's young people. Young people are concerned with money. How I'm going to get money. I'm going to get this money. I'm going to get this. So I said, shoot, I'm going to go ahead and do Be the Best in Business. Let's see what that gets me. And what happens is, because I'm Dr. Donna and I called it Be the Best in Business, even when I post it and I post stuff from it, not a lot of people are responding and asking. And that's because people are accustomed to what? The experts, the thought leaders that are saying these things that they want to hear. And I'm asking legitimate questions. Are you a solopreneur? Are you an entrepreneur, wantrepreneur, gonapreneur, nonapreneur? What's best in business? Which business is harder to run? So I'm asking legitimate business questions because I used to teach business owners. And what I am finding is this right here, that fear of appearing ignorant. So people aren't asking me questions and people aren't participating because I'm actually an expert. And when you're used to listening to the experts and the thought leaders, you can't then come over here and talk to the expert. Because now it's like, well, if you ask Dr. Donna, she's going to hold you accountable. You're going to actually have to do it. You could talk about making $1 million, but if you tell her you want to make $1 million, she's going to have a very detailed plan. She's going to tell you that's $83,333.33 a month to get $1 million pre-tax dollars. That math right there. Like, whoa, is that how much? Yep, that's how much it is. That's how much you need to make in order to get to $1 million. Now, obviously, you're going to have to go higher than that because you're going to be in a 40% tax bracket. And, you got to do that capital gains thing. They're going to get your ass. For real, for real. Okay, so fear of appearing ignorant. Number 5 is mistrust or skepticism. People are skeptical of Dr. Donna. Well, what's your doctorate in? What you a doctor of? You a medical doctor? I don't think you a real doctor. I'm like, okay. Got it. Go to LinkedIn. One thing I have found is that it's hard. I've not come across somebody that has just blatantly put a bunch of overt lies on LinkedIn. So go to LinkedIn. If you don't believe me, and I don't understand how you can listen to me for any amount of time and question my credentials, but a thought leader, you will listen to them ad nauseum and just, yep, they said it. They sure did. They sure did. And that's because of negativity bias. Negativity bias says, I'm not going to listen to anything positive. I got to get my dopamine boost, and I'm waiting for you to say something negative, and then I'm going to believe you because I don't trust it. Like, why you ain't calling nobody out? Why you over here being generic? See, you got to pick a side. You do. I did pick a side. I picked the side of personal accountability. That's the side that I'm on, but that sounds unfamiliar again because I'm an expert and people don't get it. So I have to keep explaining it again and again. So mistrust or skepticism. In some cases, there is a cultural or personal distrust of experts, and especially if prior advice was unhelpful or if the expert seems disconnected from the real world concerns. And that's what's happening. I appear to be disconnected from the real world concerns. Don't you know there is war everywhere, Dr. Donna? How dare you not address it? Motherfucker, I did address it. For 5.5 years, I addressed it every day with my life. I'm 24 years out, still experiencing the addressing it while y'all was asleep in 1996 to 2001, if you was here. I did address it. I went and actually did. I defended the country. So I did address it. I ain't got to address it now. I already did that. I'm doing other stuff now. But if you don't pick a side, how come, why are you not talking about the left? And why are you not talking about the right? And why are you not talking about red and blue? And that? Because I'm addressing it at the neurological level. I figured out why all this shit is messed up. Because it's neurological. It's actually neurological. It has nothing to do with ethnicity, gender biases, or anything else. It's a neurological choice that you make every single day. Why would I address a symptom when I found out what the root cause of the problem is? Why would I do that? So it's skeptical. Nope. What did she pick? Do you know she don't call herself a black woman? Like, what is wrong with that? Like, there she goes trying to be bougie. What she means she African American? Because I did the DNA. I actually had a conversation with one of Nola's clients when she was saying, they're going to take you. I said, the Army took my DNA in 1996. They been had it. If they was going to do something with it, they already had it. The government already had it. As soon as I got the OB, and they did that in case your body burns up, they don't know which DNA you got. That's them burnt remains is her. Okay, send the remains back to her people. So they already did it. I said, I want to know. Because black is a color. And I got on a black t-shirt right now. This and this wig I'm nowhere near this color. I never felt, I'm like, this just don't seem right to me. None of these titles. Let me go ahead and find out for real. And now I know. I got the percentage breakdown of all of it. And so no, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a black woman and I'm a black woman. I'm not. I'm not a color. I am from African descent. And I got 8% Welsh in me. I got some Irish in me as well. I'm only 1% Filipino. 79% comes from African descent, and the European descent is 19%, and that other 1% is Filipino. So that's who I am. So why am I talking about that? Ain't enough people addressing that? So my point is there's skepticism when you see me. How dare I not address the things that are here? I did. I said all that shit is the result of unaccountable people. All of the fucking problems that we have in the world are because of one or more unaccountable adults not being held personally accountable. That's why it's the number one principle of real leadership. I address that, but people want me to address the symptoms. If you have the flu, do you want to get medicine that's going, or better yet, a sinus infection? Do you want to get the Z-Pack for the sinus infection, or do you want me to give you something for watery eyes? And then come back and give you something for a clogged nasal passageway? And then do you want me to give you another pill for a fever? Or do you want to take that Z-Pack and be done with it within 7 to 10 days? Which one? Because those are symptoms. But me saying you need to hold yourself personally accountable on a daily basis and everybody around you is difficult. If I say, oh, it's white people's problems, it's black people's problems, it's the Asians, it's everybody else, it's old people, it's the boomers, it's the millennials, then you don't have to do anything. But if I say fix you first, it starts with you and your community. That's like, oh, no, not gonna listen to me. You're gonna listen to somebody else that goes and confirms your negativity bias towards a specific group. So that's why there's mistrust and skepticism, because you don't know what side I'm on. And I'll give you one more example, and then I'll move on to number 6. I chartered the Urban Chambers Toastmasters Club, and we had a individual, a man, give a speech. And he started talking about at the end what was wrong with black women in a contest. and he's African American. So I stood up at the end and I said, we can't have that. That goes against Toastmasters guidelines, and you have a bunch of African American women in the group. And at that time, I was still saying black, and so I said, I'm a black woman, and I'm a woman, and I took offense to everything that you said because you didn't have to say that, and the speech would have still been effective. So I addressed it as the president of the club, and when it was over, people came back up to me at the end and said, "Oh, well, I didn't even know, and you said you was a black woman. I didn't even know you referred to yourself as black." I'm at the Urban Chamber. I know what I look like. Why did I need to do that? And so then there was this other group that's like, fight the power, down with the people. Like I did an Angela Davis thing. And I'm saying, what would be the point of that? Why am I leading with that? Why am I leading with that when that's just part of me? That would be like me keep saying, I'm from Detroit. I'm from Detroit. I don't eat pork. I ain't ate pork since 1991. It's just a part of who I am. And now that I know that it's African descent, I'm not saying the color anymore because I didn't choose that. But when you attempt to put somebody in this box and they don't match their box, now you're trying to, because people, even when I was at Frito-Lay, people used to be like, no, you're not from Detroit. You don't talk like you're from Detroit anymore. I do. I'm like, fuck around and find out. So people have been trying to put me in a box because I'm articulate, but then I will say ain't got no and drop the endings off my words and replace the INGs with TH and things like that. So you're trying to figure out what side am I on? Am I coffee with cream? Am I Dee from the D? And I'm saying I'm me. I'm personally accountable. And if you take all of that off and you just look at personal accountability, you will find that this is the best way. This is the actual best answer for everybody. Just be who you is. And you get to be intellectual. You get to cry. You get to be strong. You get to be vulnerable. You get to be at peace. You just get to be a human being and use this amazing thing that we have that's called a brain. But you can't do that with all these biases. It's not going to work. Number 6 is accessibility concerns. Experts may be hard to reach or may not communicate in a way that's understandable or practical for non-experts. I'm going to say that again. Accessibility concerns. Experts may be hard to reach or may not communicate in a way that's understandable or practical for non-experts. I sent Kevin a video the other day and he said, were it not for me, he would not have known what that woman was talking about. And, oh, by the way, she just got to the end and didn't tell us how we were going to get there. So again, experts think everybody knows. So they talk, especially neuroscientists, they talk at this very high level. And that's why they just stick around each other, write published papers, go to their own conferences, and no one is getting this information. So I had to learn how to become fluent in neuroscience in order for us to know how to use our brains. So even if you have access, you're going, well, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? So part of the reason why it seems simple or I don't appear to be Dr. Donna is because you have to know your audience. And if I know that you don't know how to use your brain, why would I use 15 syllable words when I need you to understand how to use your brain? So for example, I went to the library to get new books, and this book is your book, Your Brain is Amazing. And this is a middle school book. And this is the book for this week because that's where the information is. That's where it's one of its simplest, purest forms. And I need to be able to have that information to explain it to everybody. So accessibility concerns, even when you get to an expert, you don't understand them. And because the expert isn't communicating effectively, that's why you switch to the experts and the thought leaders, because they speak regular. So I can understand them. I can understand the people on the podcast. Because I can understand them, they must be right. They not right, y'all. Okay, I'm telling you the truth. Before Darnetta left, she came on here talking about Candace Owens and what Candace Owens said. And when I told her Candace Owens' background before she became Candace Owens, then it was like, oh, this is just a bunch of rhetoric. That's all it is. This person has never had an actual job. This person doesn't have a degree. This person did a couple YouTube videos, got hired by some organizations, and bada boom, bada bing. Because Condi Rice is in her 60s and we need someone to represent that voice for the younger generation. And that's what it is. But it sounds good. It sounds like, and so you listen to it. It's not going to change it. It hasn't changed anything in all these years, and it's not going to because it's simply rhetoric. It sounds really good. So because you can't understand the experts, you go to the experts, you go to the thought leaders, you go to the podcasters, you go to the life coaches and all of that, because you can understand them and the therapist, and it's not producing any results. like I said, for experts. So I'm going to review again why you don't leverage experts: lack of awareness, overconfidence, the Dunning-Kruger effect, cost concerns, fear of appearing ignorant, mistrust or skepticism, and accessibility concerns. And for people saying, oh, Dr. Donna, you're going after another African American woman, I'm not. People mention people on me. Well, on my platform, I'm going to address it. Back in the day when I was speaking, people used to compare me to Gary Vaynerchuk and Eric Thomas. Oh, you remind me of Gary V. Oh, you remind me of Eric Thomas. No, I don't. I'm not. I'm me. I'm Dr. Donna. Especially because Eric Thomas was from Detroit too. He went to Michigan State. He has a PhD. So people want to say, you deliver just like I don't. I actually don't. We don't have the same background. Eric Thomas used to work at Applebee's. We are not the same. Okay? We are not. Not at all. What questions do you have? Oh, but he has more followers than you. Right. Because I'm an expert. Difficult to understand the concepts. Got to go up, got to be a little bit more highbrow to get it, even with me simplifying it. What questions do you have about why people don't listen to experts or leverage experts? And just type so I know you're here, because yesterday I didn't know that you were there, and I'm like, type. And then I realized YouTube decided that you weren't going to be able to type for me. So I had to go out and come back in. So at a minimum, give me a thumbs up. I got it. So I know that you're there. Doc is the truth, hands down. Yes, this is like a high level college course. And you are correct, because Kevin said that, and it's rockpoint.entertainment. Kevin said the same thing, that he has taken more notes in the time that he's been here than he did in all 4 years of college. So I would echo that sentiment. What questions do you have about why people don't leverage experts or statements? Like I said, the Dunning-Kruger effect. Somebody on Threads asked this morning, what did you learn today already? And hopefully I can get back to that part of my feed. And it is the Dunning-Kruger effect, because it makes so much sense for me and everybody else that I'm questioning what I know. Well, imagine that. Yes, like, yeah, it's only okay. I mean, people, it's not resonating with people. But if you understand why it's not resonating, then it makes perfect sense. Because you can't identify the experts anymore. It's crowded. It's like trying to find a needle in a needle stack. Number 5. Number 5 is mistrust or skepticism. In some cases, there's a cultural or personal distrust of experts, especially if prior advice was unhelpful, or if the expert seems disconnected from real world concerns. Good morning, Sabrina. And the other thing is that because of gender bias and racism, when you see me not talking about what people that look like me should be talking about, you automatically assume I'm not an expert. So first of all, I'm a leadership expert. Shouldn't be. Second of all, I'm talking about the brain, not me. Third of all, I'm a woman, and I'm not philosophically talking about the brain. I don't even sound feminine enough. Hell, my voice is deeper than some men. And so you automatically shut up. You're like, how could she know what she's talking about? She doesn't even have a book behind her. All the experts have books behind them. Where's her book? She doesn't even have her book. What the hell is going on with this brain green screen and this shirt? So automatically it's like, she can't possibly know what she's talking about. So she's not an expert. Let me tell her that she's not an expert. She doesn't. Oh, would I do a business one-on-one? Ha ha ha. Yeah. So you know about business, right? Show me 10 stacks. You don't know nothing about business. You not a millionaire. How you know about business? You okay, got it. Please just go to LinkedIn. If you just go. Just Google it and go over there. I guarantee you will be shocked and awed by what I've done. And that's only 80% of it over there on LinkedIn, because I just don't feel like adding to it. But that happens. So it's this, you supposed to be over there, sister girl in it. Yes. And let me tell y'all about these motherfuckers, because what? Or I'm supposed to be coffee with cream. Yes. So odoriferous emanations. Yes. And so I laugh because, and when I was at uni, yes, that's so hilarious. No, So the brain can't process it. I can't possibly know what I'm talking about because you got to either be black or you coffee with cream. And if you are African American, where's your Angela Davis afro? Because I'm supposed to have some beads. I'm supposed to be Erica Badu in it and India Irie or whoever the new neo soul brothers and sisters. Freddie from Doggone Different World. Where that shit at? I can't listen to her. Do she still have that same headband wig on? No lipstick, no earrings, no nails, no jewelry, all that. I can't. I'm over 50. So where is my glam? I'm sitting down. I'm at my house at 5:30 in the morning. I ain't doing that shit. Absolutely not. So that I can't be an expert. I don't. Where's my music in the background? Where is it at? Where is my wait? Here we go. Where's my retreat? Where is my workshop? Where is my online one-on-one coaching program? I am not legit. I can't be. Even though I did all that shit many, many moons ago, like a diamond in the rough. Right. But I'm not because I did that already. Kevin was presently surprised. He's telling me, and I'm like, okay, boom, Kevin, here go my metrics. I just hit 3,000 YouTube subscribers, and I stopped asking for click subscribe back 2015. Somewhere around there. I'm like, if you're going to get this, you're going to come to it naturally. I'm not about to be out here with a spinning sign. Personal accountability. Personal accountability. You don't miss out. FOMO. I'm not. Because that's what everybody is doing. And I did that already. I already have video. If you want to see me with videos with makeup and jewelry on, go back to 2013, 14, 15, 16. I did it. It's back there. You want to see shit flying in, zooming in, coming out with stuff at the bottom. I did that too. Go look at a book review. It's there. I'm past that. This is what self-evolution and self-awareness looks like. Because if I switch and I put on all my shit, then I'm going to be bougie. And I'm going to think I'm better than everybody. And they're going to be wrong about that too. I'm still me. Anytime I go just up a little bit, just a slight bit, people got a problem with that. Because now here I come with my pretentious ass showing up in all my Dr. Donna-ness. Now I'm looking down on people. Bunch of bullshit. That's why I'm here. That's why I started, and I'm gonna repeat this again. That's why I have my subscriptions have changed on TikTok and Instagram. They are both $10 a month. And what you get to do is see behind the scenes. Because of my security clearances, me being an MP and me being from the hood, I'm like, motherfucker ain't about to find out about me. That ain't none of your business. I will tell you, but I'm not about to show you. And so I am. You want access? Cool. That's what it's gonna be. People want to watch, y'all can watch. You can actually pay to see. That's what you want to do. You want to see it? There it goes. You will find out what toothpaste I use, why I use a kappa peroxide before I brush my teeth, all kind of stuff. My morning routine, regimen, all of that is going to be there. Places I'm at, things I'm doing. You can see that behind the scenes. I'm providing access because I need to start establishing a level of trust that I have not had before. So that is what is going to become available because people want to watch. You want to watch on TikTok, you want to watch on Instagram, you looky loose, you're going to look at that. That's what's actually going to happen. So you will get that information finally because, hell, I'm on the other side of life. Who knows how much longer I got to be here. And, I mean, people could try to come fuck with me if you want to. I don't recommend it, but if you're feeling froggy, leap and let's see what happens. So anyway, that's the tangent. That's the whole point. That's the reasons why people don't choose experts. That's why people don't know what category. And y'all could be honest. Y'all didn't know what category to put me in because I've had people, well, when I met you, you was doing all this sassy stuff. And what you will find, and what I noticed yesterday as I was filming, is because I'm one with the universe before I click live, those first 2.5 hours, I am at peace. And you can see and hear the calmness in my voice as I'm waking up at 3, making up my bed, brushing my teeth, getting ready for my live because I'm actually an introvert. And then by the time I'm here, I'm up, I've done everything I need to do. So there is this warm up that actually takes place in the amount of things that I do before my morning starts. Or it's already started, but by the time you see me at 5:30. Nola said it was a lot. I watched it. I still didn't feel like it was a lot before 5:30, but who knows? Okay, now how to leverage experts. And we have 5 ways to do that. I used to offer business development courses, and I don't do that anymore. The closest that I come to that is turnaround tactics. So if you go to the website and you look up turnaround tactics, then you can start, stop, or continue something. So that's the closest that I do. But yes, I used to teach a 6-week business course. and I was a business strategist. So I would help people with their businesses. I used to consult business owners and tell them what to do with their staff and all of that. So that phase is over, but the closest that you can have. And the reason why I stopped is because people were being personally unaccountable, and everything that I do is based in personal accountability. So they weren't getting the results, and they were trying to tell me that it was on me. And I'm like, it ain't on me. I told you what to do, and you didn't fire those 4 people. That's why you're running out of money. So yeah, so the closest thing that you have to that is turnaround tactics, and you tell me what you want to start, stop, or continue, and within 24 hours you get a detailed strategy customized for you to tell you exactly what you need to do. All right, so how to leverage experts. Number one, identify the right expert for your goal. So define what you need. So that's knowledge, validation, advice, or collaboration. And then search for the individuals with proven expertise, credentials, publications, relevant experience. Yes. And then use their platforms. So here is the thing that I have told y'all and will continue to tell you all. Anytime somebody tells you this who I'm is, first place I go is LinkedIn. If they're famous, I go to Wikipedia. But if they're not famous, I go to LinkedIn. And you need to go to LinkedIn. I didn't even know Google Scholar existed, so I will now be using Google Scholar, university websites, and professional networks. So when someone says, this is who I am and this is what I bring to the table and I am the table and all that, okay, cool. What's your complete name? So I'm going to check to see if you're an expert first. That's what I'm going to do before I start listening to you. I made $1 million and Patrick Bet-David. And I talked to Patrick Bet-David, told him some stuff he needed to do for one of his conferences, because one year when Kobe went, rest in peace, Kobe, he didn't have any women on the thing. And I may have told you the story before. And somebody sent me a message on LinkedIn, invited me. And I said, I'm not coming because you don't have any women on the platform. And I messaged Patrick Bet-David in LinkedIn and told him, you don't have any women. Your person told me to come. Here's the reason why I'm not coming, because there are no women on the platform. And how are you going to talk about business and all these things? And there's no woman there. You don't have enough diversity. It's a sausage fest, basically. And so then he put his wife and some other women on the platform. Now, he will tell you that he is a veteran. He served at the 101st Airborne Division Air Assault. He served 2 years and he was the E4. That is not the same as me going to Fort Campbell, being about to be the division company commander for the 101st MP Division Company at Fort Campbell. We are not the same, but that's part of the narrative. And yes, he has a lot of money from what? MLM. He had a major MLM corporation that made him millions and millions of dollars. He took that and turned that into, when he used to have the read and the board, and now he has a podcast and all of that. So look at the origin story, and you will see those things. Sometimes it's been scrubbed, but sometimes it's still there. People love Gary Vaynerchuk, and he keeps talking about Wine Library. Wine Library never got over 10,000 views, and he got a publicist. It tipped, and then the publicist popped everything off, used that, flipped that. It was his father's business originally, and now it's turned into Vayner Media, Vayner Marketing, and all of that. So go back and look at people's origin stories before you just assume that they are an expert. That's number one. Make a targeted approach. So be respectful and specific in your outreach. Why are you seeking out this expert advice? Briefly explain who you are, why you're reaching out, and what you hope to gain, and keep it concise and clear. So number one, again, is identify the right expert for your goal. Number two is make a targeted approach. Do not approach this any and everybody. When I was on my search to find mentors, understand business after I severed the relationship with my sister, I was talking to any and everybody. I had networking meetings I went to on Thursday. I was at meetups. I was at any and everything. Like I said, I have about 35 notebooks full of notes. You got a meeting? I'm coming. What you talking about? I'm here. All kinds of things. So I needed to get information because I didn't have any connections here in Las Vegas on my own for what I was doing. So you have to have a targeted approach. I sat down with millionaires. I sat down with elected officials. I sat down with people that was actually in office at the time, sat down with people that have multi-million-dollar businesses. I just want to, you know what I'm saying, touch the hem of your garment. What you got? And here's why I'm asking for this information. Pay for lunch, pay for coffee. Let me have the information. Number three, ask focused, value-driven questions. Ask focused, value-driven questions. So come prepared with specific, thoughtful questions. Avoid broad, easily searchable questions, and show you've done your homework. So I would Google people. I'm going on your LinkedIn. I'll sit down. I noticed that you had this. You got this business award. What were you doing? So I'm having this conversation with this person to say, I know who you are. That's why we're sitting here. Now, here is the information that I am seeking from you. Number three, ask focused, value-driven questions. Number 4, apply what you learn. So integrate the expert's insights into your decision making or your project and acknowledge their contribution if it's relevant. I will say this came from Frito-Lay, this came from the Army, this came from this person, this is where I learned this information at. So acknowledge, apply what you've learned, and then acknowledge that you've learned it. And then number 5, maintain a relationship. So follow up with your results or your progress, share your outcomes that have been influenced by their input, and stay in touch for future collaborations or advice. So how to leverage experts. Number 1, identify the right experts for your goal. Number 2, make a targeted approach. Number 3, ask focused, value-driven questions. Apply what you learned is number 4. And number 5, maintain the relationship. What questions do you have about how to leverage experts? And for those of you who have my book, it was simpler than that. Back then it was don't try to do something that you don't know how to do on your own. If you wouldn't work on your computer, but that was 2009. We are now in 2025. So I'm expanding that to actually, because now we can ask experts. We can get in touch with them. We can DM them and all these other things. We have quicker access to them. So ask them, but go with a strategic plan. So what questions do you have about how to leverage an expert? And as I mentioned, all of those people that I mentioned, there is no ill will except for towards one of those people. But other than that, because that person tried to come for me. Anyway, it's not about that. It's not about, oh, Dr. Donna hating on these people. I'm actually not. I'm actually not hating on them at all. I'm saying understand how a person gets to this level, understand what the impact is going to be, and then on your own, put people in 2 categories. Are they personally accountable, which means they are focused on becoming their best every day, or are they unaccountable? And if you just use the 74 principles of real leadership that are located on the website, that's why we go to them any day that I'm talking about them. If you just use those 74 principles of real leadership as a checklist, be honest, establish trust, challenge yourself, take risk. If you just look at them, these 74 principles of real leadership, you actually have a checklist to assess people being personally accountable and people being personally unaccountable. And what you will find is there is no gender on there. There is no ethnicity. Embrace diversity is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. There is no sexual orientation. There is no religious preference, because none of that matters. It's 2 types of people in the world. Those who hold themselves personally accountable and those who don't. And those who don't are fucking the world up every day in more ways than we can even fathom. Every day. And then saying, well, it's not my fault, it's their fault. They're really good at this. None of the unaccountables are good at bend the wrist. They're very good at this. They got PhDs in finger pointing. Yep, I'm Dr. Finger Pointing. I'm Dr. Blame Game. I'm Dr. It Ain't My Fault. I'm Dr. My parents didn't hug me enough. I'm Dr. That, my husband left me. I'm Dr. That, no, you're not. Bend the wrist. Fix you first. Fix you first, and it fixes a lot. Okay, so no questions. Kevin has spoken for the group. Kevin I ain't speaking for the group. I'm just talking about me, Dr. Donna. All right, we have time for a video today. And you are going to go to the social media tab on the website. My fave, YouTube. If y'all hear some Smoky Norfolk, that's what I was listening to. And you're going to be on the homepage of my homepage, not the homepage. What's happening here? There we go. You're going to be on the homepage. I was listening to gospel music before I got on here. You're going down to the second list. And you are going to the second question. And the second question is, why can't I? You will be in questions with a question. So you go to the website, social media page, YouTube, click on YouTube, scroll down, and you will be in the playlist question with a question. And I have a gray scale Snapchat lens on with some glasses. You will watch that and then put your reply in the comments. It's the video under questions with the question. It's the second video. Why can't I? Grayscale. I got Snapchat lens on with some glasses on, rounded glasses. So it's why can't I under questions with the questions playlist. So the second playlist on the home page. Should I give them more time? Do you feel ghetto again today with this question, with answering this question, Kevin? Or was that just for yesterday's question? I have to take it out. It's not working good. You still do? Why? I don't understand that. If you could help me understand why. And I'm more laughing at the 4, not at you, but the 4 exclamation points behind it. You speak emojis and exclamation points, but you're fluent in them. Why am I still attached? Why do I still keep talking about them? And then, Kevin, after you answer that, the last 2 questions for today are, what did you learn today? And what did you learn about yourself today? And remember, if you all could type ... just so I know I haven't been frozen or the chat hasn't been enabled. It's hot in here. Thank you, Nola. I do see your dots. Ellipse. Some questions have an invisible face behind them, kind of like saying, bye, Felicia. Okay. I see. Interesting perspective. The question, though, is what have you learned today? And what have you learned about yourself today? We're at the final 2 questions for today. Learned bravado. You're going to be a wordsmith before we know it, Kevin. You're on your way. Today I learned about the Dunning-Kruger effect and its cognitive bias. It's amazing. That's why I say be coachable and provide coaching are both principles of real leadership, because when you provide the coaching or lead by example, you learn too. And if I wasn't doing the lives, I wouldn't know about the Dunning-Kruger effect. Hell, I wouldn't have a brand t-shirt. I would have came out as a nerd last year. Myself, I am much better at leveraging experts. Yes. And if you said what you learned today, then I don't see that one, Nola. If you flip the order, that's cool too. Nola, learn you need to assess if the expert is actually an expert or has the expertise to answer the questions you have based upon their experience. Because what happens with the thought leaders and the experts is they tell you they're an expert in this thing, the expert in this thing, and then they tell you they are the shiz naive. So then you start asking them questions about the thing that they said that they're the expert in, but you didn't ask yourself if I actually need this thing that they said they were an expert in. So now you got some useless information that don't apply. And then you just keep trying to apply it because they said it works. Like the new thing now is everybody's, because of YouTube Shorts and YouTube Shop, everybody wants to start a YouTube channel. And now you need to go to class to figure out what your YouTube channel should be about. But if you wasn't trying to be on YouTube, then why are you trying to? Because you heard you could make some money. So now you're going to think of this niche to be on YouTube, and usually they tell you what the niche is. And now everybody is a notary public. Everybody is an expert because just because you was at your job for 20 years does not mean that you are an expert. Well, you worked for 20 years in food and beverage, so you are a food and beverage expert. So just start a YouTube channel with food and beverage, and then be an Amazon associate and just keep holding up food and beverages and put the link and click the link. And that's why you have everybody saying click, subscribe, share. If you want to get more notifications, just da. And they have these large followings. And where are we going? Where are we going? That's why I stopped following people, because I was following thought leaders and experts and celebrities and crooks. Entrepreneurs. So I said, yep, I'm done. Because none of this is leading to where I want to be at all. And like I said, I used to have mentors. And I sat down with the SBA mentors and $1 million mentors and everything. And nobody could sit and tell me what I needed to do. And that's what made me say, you're not an expert. Not in the thing that you're saying. If you done made millions of dollars, then you could tell anybody how to make millions of dollars. Not how you made millions of dollars, but how to make millions of dollars. Once you learn, you learn. And then, Kevin, I don't see your second answer. I see you learned bravado and the second answer of what you learned about yourself. Now, the final thing that I will say is, I've mentioned this before, is that I will about 2 to 3 times a year go on LinkedIn and just look at the job offers at my level. And once I went over delegate and I realized that people delegate the things they don't want to do, I went back to LinkedIn and I realized that the job descriptions are the things that people don't want to do in organizations. They're all the things that are not working in the organization. Nobody wants to do them. And then there is this job offer, especially when you start getting into C-suites, high-level consultants and things like that. This is all the shit that's wrong with our company, and you're going to come here and it's your job to fix it. So it's delegating the growth opportunities. And that's why people don't like their jobs, because this is the only thing that's available is the shit don't nobody else want to do. Don't nobody want to be a cashier? We hiring cashiers. Don't nobody want to wash cars? So here go to car washing. Don't nobody want to work second and third shift? So this is the work that's available. It's always hiring on the off shifts. Never, excuse me. First shift is always the first shift to go. Then you put all these other people. Well, you got to work your way up to get the first shift. So what I did was I actually used, I think it's Resume Genius. Yes, Resume Genius. Don't have a resume. Set up a resume on Resume Genius. Got to the end. They told me I got to pay $3 for it. I was like, fuck that. So I went on Canva. Made my own resume, do some regular shit on there, boom, 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 summarized it, put it on LinkedIn, said, okay, forget it. I'm going to go pay Resume Genius. I got like 12 days left or something like that. And so I started applying for jobs. I have a job interview today. at 7:30, from 7:30 to 7:40 to see interest. Now I know with this person because they got back to me too quickly. So I know it's some type of Ponzi scheme, MLM thing because I've experienced this many years ago. So I know this person is constantly texting over because they're not getting my phone number. They're sending me a bunch of emails and everything. And so I'm going to sit there. They told me, even if you've never been in business before, it's going to be a great opportunity for you. Number one, you could not have looked at my resume and you did not look at me on LinkedIn because you would have knew how much experience I already got. But you're going to show me this opportunity. So I went to the landing page. I saw all these pictures. You're going to travel. You're going to have unlimited income, 6-figure, blah, blah, blah. Individual results may vary. So I will be telling you all tomorrow how my job interview has gone from 7:30 to 7:40 this morning because they're going to present to me this amazing 6-figure opportunity. But yes, so now I will keep applying with my resume the way I am, not changing anything, because now I know that it is all the delegated work. So if you think about your job and all the shit you got to do at your job, it's everything that the organization did not want to do. People delegate their growth opportunities because what's supposed to happen is the work is supposed to give you skills. Oh, no, this is an experiment. Hell no, I can't go back to a 9. I never really had a 9 to 5 because I worked in food and beverage. No, this is actually an experiment. Absolutely not, because now I know that it's delegating the things that people don't know. I'm running experiments on on Instagram with the 2 channels that I have. Fuck no, absolutely not, never, done. Left that be 15 years on June 25th. Absolutely not. No, see. I'm about to break out in hives. I've only done that one of. Ooh, I'm itching. Hell no. It is actually an experiment because I used to hire people. I hired managers. I hired hourly employees, and the process is skewed. So what's going to happen is NOLA has a bunch of HR clients, and so I'm going to bring this to their attention. Why they can't find qualified candidates, and it's because the work that you're offering is the shit work, and nobody wants to do the shit work, whether it's at 200,000, 300,000. Because it's not value added. If you think about the work that you do on a daily basis, it's the reason why I left Frito-Lay once I became a mega zone manager. I'm like, this shit is stupid. All these Zoom calls, for what? We're not even talking about anything of value. When you get from direct reports, when you get from operations, direct is anything that generates the money. Indirect is all the shit. The directs pay for the indirect. It's all the administrative shit behind the scenes. And most of the jobs available are indirect labor positions. And it's a bunch of metrics and Zoom calls and Excel spreadsheets, Asana, and all this other shit. And you don't really do anything. You sit around all day on a computer looking at stuff, emailing the meeting before the meeting, and all of that. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's too much fluff, and none of these meetings are value added, but you have to keep them busy. It's like busy work at daycare to justify these high level paying positions that you quite frankly can do without. And I'm at the high level position, so I'm not looking at anything low level at all. Nothing hourly or anything like that. I'm putting base pay, crazy amounts of money, and all kind of shit because I just want to see who's going to nibble and see what's actually taking place. No, it is actually an experiment because if you don't believe me, go look at LinkedIn. Go look at jobs.com, Indeed, and just go look at the job descriptions of these jobs and what is needed. And you will see that it's the delegation of all the shit work. Nobody in the company wants to do the work. We need to hire somebody to fix our broken shit that we fucking broke. It's very much unaccountable, and that's why people sit in the parking lot. And I even have a business 101 that says if you're going to partner with somebody, go to their location during shift change and watch the expression on the employees' faces as they walk into the building. That's going to tell you everything that you need to know. Not when they're coming out, people be skipping out of work. What do the employees look like? Are they sitting in the car? Are they doing like this? Do they come and do their lunch break in the car? That body language is going to tell you what the hell is going on in that building. Just sit back and observe during a shift change in the morning. Watch all the office people drag their asses in so they can sit in that cubicle in that office with that one window, and you will see all of the work is the shit work. And as we talked about with delegation, you delegate the things that you already know how to do. Why? So you can make that person skilled. You're not skilled at work. You got a bunch of shit that nobody taught you how to do. It shows up on your performance review and you getting in trouble for some shit that you never were trained to do. And now you're supposed to turn shit into Shinola when they didn't know how to do it. And they just, you had to say, yeah, I know how to do it. I know how to do it. And then you get there, you're like, oh, this ain't what I thought at all. But everybody needs to earn a living. Everybody needs to have a roof over their head. And so you take these positions, do the best that you can, and you have the limited resources, then and stress the hell out, living, working in a hijacked amygdala ass state. So I'm saying this because as soon as I do things like this, I end up coming across somebody through my daughter's business or online or something, and I say, this is how you get that done. So just like I would tell you how to have the best social media experience online, how to actually create content that matters, fuck the views. If the content is shit, who cares how many people watched it? So this is just another thing that I'm working to do it. Okay. She can't go back to a 9 to 5. HR will be calling her in the office within the first 72 hours, and then she'll end up being the head of HR. Right. I'm not doing that because that's not what I came here to do. I came here to teach people how to be personally accountable. And so I have these experiences so I can best that situation. And then when I come across somebody, I can tell them how to best that situation. That's what it's about, because people aren't looking at what's the best way to hire. I had to actually hire hourly employees and managers. And I've said, when you're hiring managers, start at the back of the resume. When you're starting with a leader, you start at the back of the resume, because people remember lies forward. They don't remember lies in reverse. And then you just add, and then you move that. You say, okay, that's on the resume, move out the way. Let's just talk. Let's have a conversation. We finish with that. What questions do you have? What do you want to know? Let me get to know you, and let me tell you what's happening. So because I've hired leaders and hourly employees, I have that experience as well. And now those job descriptions were already there. Now I'm on the opposite side. I have all this information, and I'm looking, and I'm saying, this that delegated work. Y'all don't nobody want to do this shit. That's why when you look for a job, you're like, all right, which one is going to pay the most or got the right hours? Because I don't feel like doing none of this shit. The work never matches the position, the title of the job, and then the duties. And you keep scrolling. Like, who else is at the place? If I got to do all this, how many employees y'all got? Because shit, sound like this a lot of people. So no, my working for someone else and building someone else's dreams ended on June 21st, June 25th, 2010 on a Friday at 9:18 a.m. Central Standard Time. It ended then. I don't have to do that ever again. But I am an expert in human beings and human behavior. And as a result of that, I would like to bridge the gap. Nobody want to work. They asking for too much. They not paying enough. That shit's worth more than that. That's what happens with the unaccountable people, and they're not coming together to say, where is this system broken at? Because it's broke like a motherfucker. It's broken as shit. It really is. And now you have AI writing the job description, AI writing the resumes, but guess who's not going to show up to the job, to the interview or the job? It's going to be two people. So why the fuck is AI writing? That's how you end up. It's like everybody getting catfish now. It's like online dating. Everybody misrepresenting themselves, and then you're like, well, you lied on your resume. Well, you lied in the job description. And that's why we see quality. We see it in furniture assembly now, because we can tell that there has been a shift in management in all furniture companies. Everything is broken. Shortcuts, because people are not skilled anymore. They're pushing more and more down to the customer level. And they say you can DIY it. No, the hell you can't. Nola almost threw a desk out a window yesterday. So no, no, you cannot. So there has been a shift. Millennials are now in those high level management positions. Some are good, some are not. Boomers are retiring. In theory, X's are on their way out as well. And what you have is this new group who hasn't been effectively trained in their job function. And now the world is changing, and it's more about people. So if you have to work with people, you need people skills. And AI, you can't AI people skills out. That's what I'm saying. That's why everything feels sanitized at this point. It feels disconnected, because that human experience has been engineered out through technology. And yes, I'm using Chat GPT. I just started using Gork on X, and there is value in it, but you can't engineer out the human brain and the human experience. And that's the whole point of this experiment. I conduct experiments on lives every day, because it's in an environment where people are relaxed and no one is really necessarily paying attention to it. And it's not like, ha ha ha, I've got your brain. It's no, you are being who you are. So now I can assess best. Everybody is operating at 70%. Very few people are operating at 100%. But when everybody gets to their best, we all gonna have a better existence. So that's what it is. The workforce sucks now because all of the jobs are delegating the shit work to brand new people. instead of delegating the growth opportunities, the people to enhance the employees. That's not what it's about. It's about, I need to get promoted. This part of my business sucks, or I need to make more business, get more customers, hire somebody to do that shit. And the E-Myth Revisited is the best business book ever written, and it talks about that. The entrepreneur will delegate all of the growth opportunities to all the employees, stress them out, they'll quit, and then the entrepreneur would say, don't nobody want to work. Don't nobody believe in my vision but me. When that's not the case at all. So nope, no job for me. I'm past that. And as Kevin mentioned, and even then I got accused of this, and if you have to go, I understand, but I got accused of this one for the 2 years that I was working with the Urban Chamber as a strategic advisor. People kept telling Ken Evans, the president, that she's after your job. And he was like, yeah, they said you're trying to take my job. I was like, motherfucker, you make $60,000 a year. You safe. Fuck I'm gonna do with that? Okay. Okay. In the Army, in the 90s. What the fuck? Yeah. Right, that's pre-tax dollars. You crazy as hell. Your job. This is a non-profit, okay? Non-profit is all I needed. See, yeah, she's over here trying to take your job. Like, y'all, clearly you all have not been to LinkedIn, because been past that. This little, you got 3 employees. There's no way. 2. What the hell am I gonna do with that? You need my MP team was 3, me and 3 other people in my vehicle. The fuck I'm gonna do with this bullshit at? I'm already Dr. Donna. Why would, but you think this is gonna give me some? Well, you know, I'm the president of the Urban Chamber on the West Side. Nobody letting me in no room with that bullshit. I got in them rooms that y'all couldn't get in because I said I'm Dr. Donna Thomas Rogers. I'm Levi's great granddaughter. The hell I need this for? Y'all wasn't never gonna get in the rooms that y'all was in. You wasn't going to do business on 4 continents. Okay, that was Brazil, Poland, Australia, and Africa. What the hell? What was you doing? Y'all couldn't get in them rooms. Miss me with that bullshit. But again, because because I'm so calm and so laid back, it's just like, and well, how much could she know? A lot, about a lot, done a lot. And then one final thing, and I didn't even realize this. I won when I was at Frito-Lay. Both of my zones won the sales zones of the year. Frito-Lay every year. I don't know if they still do it, but you have all the sales zones in the company. The top 20 zones get to go to the Fiesta Bowl. It wasn't until Nola just told me this. So both my zones won. So I went, and then I let somebody else go. Took my sister. All expense weekend. They gave us jackets and awards. We walking on stage, giving us green jackets like we at the Masters and stuff, and all kind of 50-yard line seats and everything. I didn't even know that thing was part of the New Year's Six. Who knew that I won Fiesta Bowl? That's when Frito-Lay used to still host it, and I'm sitting at the 50-yard line at one of the top college football events, clueless in New York. I'm like, yeah, well, I don't even know who's playing. I'm just saying we're going to Fiesta Bowl, and it ends up being the damn New Year's Six. Who knew? So things like this occur in my life all the doggone time, but I don't mention it. It's the experts and the thought leaders that got to keep telling y'all these things so that they can appear to be more credentialed than they actually are. As I said, Nola has corporate clients. She has celebrity clients. Y'all will never know who those people are because it doesn't matter. They needed something put together. They needed something assembled and mounted, and that's why we were there. And that's why they call us back, because we're not saying, yeah, we was that, and we ain't taking pictures of they shit. I'm over. Look at this. I'm not. It's not necessary. Not necessary at all. So the moral of the story is always leverage experts. Make sure they're experts. If you haven't taken anything else away from this conversation, do your research. If somebody tells you this is who I am, there should be a bunch of evidence. Somebody tell you they got 30 years of experience, okay, then they should have 30 years of experience. I told y'all I've been on YouTube since August of 2013. I have 11,300 videos. I think that says that I've been on YouTube since August of 2013. If I say I've been on Instagram posting every day since December 16, 2015, I got 15,400 Instagram posts. That sounds like I've been on Instagram every day. But people will go to the thing that they said was important, which is the followers, which is I got videos that got 1 million views. I got videos that got hundreds of thousands and millions of views. Why the hell I'm going to bring that up if it's not pertinent to the conversation? If we're not talking about social media influencing, I don't have to talk about that. So this is my new experiment. Again, the live back behind the scenes, in theory, if Instagram cooperates with my ability to post the amount of videos that I need to post. So somewhere in May, in theory, May 1st, you want to see behind the scenes, $10 a month. You can go to TikTok, you can go to Instagram, and you will see my day-to-day. And will it be sexy? Absolutely not. And it's just going to be like, wow. So that's what your day in and day out looks like. Because people, and the other reason why I'm doing it is because people want to say, get ready with me, clock, 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 look at. And we've been to influencers' houses. That shit ain't how that work at all. I'm showing you the grind, the personal accountability grind, day in and day out, what it actually takes in order to do magnificent, wonderful things. You got to have a simple existence if you're going to do something extraordinary. And that came from the Pablo Picasso documentary on PBS. All right, anything else before I go? And then the final thing that I want to say is people say it's hard to get a job. You don't understand. There's discrimination going on. I'm a woman. I'm African American. I'm over 50. All of those things, I'm doing that as well because I hear these things and I want to know if that's actually true. Will I be discriminated against because I'm over 50? I'm African American. I've been out of the workforce for 15 years. I'm looking at and assessing all those things too. Because you could say that, but until you know for sure, you don't have that tangible information to be able to say if that is in fact true. So I'm taking all of that into consideration as well. And being overqualified, because clearly I'm overqualified for most positions. I would say all of them. All right. Thank you very much. I know I went a lot over. Usually I'm about 6:07 and 6:17, 6:47. These things needed to be said. I will be back tomorrow. God willing, higher power in the universe. Same time, same place. My amazing face, different brain t-shirt. You all go off and have a terrific Tuesday.